Hello, everyone. I'm Suzanne, and I am your vacation rental business coach with Welcoming Wow. And we are kicking off our guest club interview series today with our featured guest, Renee Hribar. Renee, if you could please share with our audience just a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. So I love vacation home rentals. My husband has always wanted to buy one, but I said, well, I wanted sample first. I'm like the one who goes out to restaurants and I get the sampler platter. This is what I love. So I am an avid renter of vacation homes. We own our own home, but I like renting. So I love travel. If I'm not on a trip, I'm planning a trip. That's me as my person. What I do for a living is I'm a sales coach and I do it virtually. So I actually am able to work all around the world. So I rent Airbnbs not only for fun with my family, but for work a lot. I run retreats. I'm at least once a month, I'm renting some sort of vacation home somewhere from Europe to North America to even Guatemala. It was amazing. So that's a little bit about me and why I love what you do so much.
Great. Thank you so much. So it would probably be a tough question for you to answer if I said, so how many times have you stayed in a vacation rental?
I guess you have to check my stats, right? Doesn't like Airbnb and Vrbo, do they track all that?
Yep.
I love looking
back. It's a lot, huh?
Seeing all the places. Yeah. From Dublin, Ireland to
nice.
Antigua.
I stayed in a vacation rental in Dublin, Ireland myself. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. I know. I didn't want to stay in a hotel room with my brother, so that's always a good reason to rent a vacation rental.
Agreed. We had a 2-bedroom also. It was with my parents. God help me. But
perfect.
Yeah, it worked out.
So what would you say is your travel style? And by that, I mean, like you normally travel for business, vacation, family getaway, business, pleasure, pamper yourself. What's your style?
So I have hosted writing retreats where it was, more for women to get together. I've hosted mastermind retreats. So I would say 80% business, 20% just for the family. But it's 100% always for me. So
nice.
Whatever I host a retreat, it's always somewhere I wanted to go anyway.
Perfect. Well, why would you do anything else? Exactly. So what have been your travel frustrations and fears when you've been booking a vacation rental?
Yeah. So fears are always, I'm going to get there and it's not real. Like that fear has been less and less over time. But ultimately it's what if I get there and it's either it was a scam, like I totally paid somebody that made something up money. But other than that is what if it's not what I expected, or what if it's not what I need, right? Like what if we needed an accessible house, because I have one close family member and one close client who cannot climb stairs, needs to have an elevator or a ramp, and needs to have a room that's close to the doors, a bedroom, so that she can get into the bathroom and everything. So that's a very real concern. Also cleanliness, like not only during COVID, I did rent homes during COVID. I did travel, I was ready. I did travel a little differently, but I did travel. So what if it wasn't clean, and not just even COVID clean, but just like a lot of times I'll get a hot tub, for example, or a pool. What if it's not usable? What if I rented the place for the pool, but the pool's out of whack, or the hot tub doesn't work, or there's roaches or something. I don't know. Like these are fears, again, not necessarily experiences, but fears that you hear about other people having, or just, I don't know, weird situations. We had one scenario where where the owner, I assumed it was the owner or the management company, kept coming by. I'm like, what can I help you with? And they were like, oh, we need to take the trash, like weird little things. It felt odd that the person kept needing to have access to the house. I'm like, should we leave? Are we okay? So those were some of the concerns I had and fears.
Okay. All right. Those are real concerns, especially about cleanliness or the description not matching what you actually get. It's a huge one for me too. So where do you get most of your information from before you make your travel decision?
Great question. So I will always look at the first picture. Like, so for the filter, it's kind of like, okay, pictures first. And then I start to filter down. Okay. Do I want to be on, near the water, or do I want to have, a hot tub or something like that? But then I also look at the reviews. And if I book a place based on just the pictures and I have not read the reviews, I oftentimes regret it.
It's
So
true.
the
They
reviews
so
are good.
important.
The reviews are
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Now, when you look at the reviews, do you look for owner responses at all, or is it more just about what previous guests have said?
Well, that's fantastic. I often don't see owner responses, and I would love to see more owner responses. As a business owner who works in the digital landscape, a lot of my business is done digitally. So people will leave in essence, a review or a testimonial of work that I've done or a course that I've run or a workshop that I've hosted. And if I don't comment back, it kind of looks like a one-way conversation. So I do look, when I see owner responses, it's easy for me to see sometimes if it's copied and pasted. It's easy for me to see if this is a real person who cares, like this is their home, they've actually answered, or if it's a non-savvy marketing or management company, but I do love to see the owner responses because it shows that they see it, they're acknowledging it, and they're responding, whether it's not just to negative responses, but to positive reviews too, right?
Right.
But if there's a negative review and there's no owner response, then that kind of feels like they might not just care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good points.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at vacation rentals, what are your top must-haves in a vacation rental? Like, what is every single one? What do you look for?
Number one, Wi-Fi.
Okay.
I have to have Wi-Fi, whether I'm traveling for myself or whether I'm traveling for work or my family. Wi-Fi. We have to be plugged in. We're just not there to unplug. That's number one. Number two, if I'm on Airbnb, for example, there's a toggle. I know that I've actually asked you about this, and I know there's some maybe changes or insider information that I'm unaware of because I'm not an insider like you, but I typically toggle SuperHost because to me, again, this could be a completely false feeling or false idea, but I feel like, oh, they've been somehow vetted more, or somehow, they're going to it's going to alleviate the fears that I had originally, which was like, this is a scam, or this is not going to be what I thought it was going to be. So I typically toggle SuperHost if I'm on there. And what else does it have to have? I mean, I definitely want to have some reviews. So if I see a house that's like new on the market and there's only one or two reviews and it's like 3 sentences, like it was great or super nice, I'm like, I'll just keep on scrolling.
Okay. And then kind of flip flop from that question. What are the one or two top things that you just do not like in a vacation rental and you'd never book it?
Yeah. If there were negative reviews and then the owner does respond like, well, we told you, we fixed that. And they seem kind of like argumentative, like, that's one thing I'll be like, there's other houses. I'll look at other houses. I'm non-confrontational, that would be the number one thing. Or just bad reviews that there was no response. That'll also make me think twice, thrice,
Sure. Okay, good points. So tell us then why you would normally book or look for a vacation rental instead of a hotel.
Yeah, I like my space. So if I'm going to be there for a bit of a longer time, so if I'm not just there if I'm longer than a night or two, typically I will get a place because I like the fridge, and having like a place to store food, or having a pool that's just yours, or a hot tub that's just yours. And I know that it's a myth in my head. I mean, other people have been in there, but still it just feels like it's like less people have been in there, even though that's probably not true.
Sure. Now, have you found yourself booking more vacation rentals because of COVID, or you already were at the same place that you are now?
I was already booking vacation home rentals, but I feel like during COVID, a lot of the hotels were just like, we got nothing. So it was actually easier to book a vacation home rental during the COVID travel time. And they were also less expensive and they were letting us stay longer. So like maybe a house in Sedona, for example, which I love to visit Sedona, would be like $1,000 for 2 days. It'd be $1,000 for a week during that. Now, obviously I understand that market demand, but
sure. Okay. So thinking about a recent experience where you were looking and actually booked and stayed in a vacation rental, what was your purpose in your most recent rental?
The most recent rental was for a mastermind. So I have a few private clients who periodically throughout the year, I will say, hey, listen, I'm thinking about renting a house on the beach in Florida, Miami. These 3 days or these 4 days, do you want to come down and you can either stay at the house? There's, this is what the layout looks like, or you can get your own place. Some people just don't want to stay together. That's fine. But if they want to, I've rented the house. This is where I'm staying. There's a pool. I'll get Instacart, a bunch of groceries. We'll cook together, have fun together, and we'll just sit on the couch. And there's usually 5 or 6 of us. And we're usually all about the same kind of age. So we have a lot of the same interests, and we usually mastermind in the morning. And then that afternoon we go out kayaking or we go for a sunset sail, and I treat them to that as a special gift. So.
Okay. So then in your recent search,
yeah,
did you have something in your mind as far as you knew exactly what you were looking for? Mm-hmm. And did you find what you were looking for?
Right. Yes. So I definitely, in my most recent search, I had 7 women that were like, yes, I'm coming with you. And so I needed at least for myself, plus the 7, 8 beds. Right. Because they're okay sleeping in the same room, but they don't necessarily want to snuggle. They don't want to spoon.
Yep.
They don't know each other, they know each other, but they haven't met in real life. So like they're from the internet space, like they're both business owners, they're grown women, they're, homeowners. So they're like, I don't want to do that. So it was a struggle to find 8 beds that weren't bunk beds. Like they didn't include bunk beds because we don't want to climb up a little ladder that is child size. I'm like, what's the weight limit on this thing? You know what I mean? Like I can imagine me trying to get to the top bunk and I like, it's not meant for me. Also a challenge one time. So this last house was great, but this one time we rented a house, it was actually more than one time because we knew to ask the second time, are any of the bedrooms in the garage or what formerly was known as the garage? So I found that a lot of homeowners, and I'm not sure what the laws are with this, but they had a 2-car garage. They turned one of the bays into 2 bedrooms with what seemed like a partition, so they didn't have to get like a building permit. I'm guessing. I'm not a builder, but I'm just guessing they kind of, found the way. But what happens with the garage is that, the HVAC system doesn't really work out there. So it was either too hot or too cold, or there were just bugs, like from outside. Like in this one house, there was definitely like, no, not good.
Like, no, just no.
And then so the second time, the ladies that came were like, don't put me in the garage. Like, what? Like, it was an accident. I did not know the house had 2 bedrooms in the garage.
Wow. Okay. And they didn't disclose that at all. It didn't be, It's not like they're saying, oh, hey, these bedrooms.
5 bedroom, 10 beds,
sure.
2 beds in each room. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in your last search, then you finally did find exactly what you were looking for.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. And did you already stay there and was everything as it was supposed to be?
It was amazing. Yes. It was such a relief.
Nice.
There were the owner wasn't trying to knock on the door coming in. There were no cameras by the pool. That was another thing we had. We have cameras, hidden cameras by the pool. I'm like, well, you got to show me where they are. That's not okay. And it was in Vegas to their defense. They probably had people that took advantage of them. We are not those people. And we do not want to be on camera when we're in the pool. We are like, in our 40s and 50s. Okay. Like, no, thank you.
Like,
I don't want to know.
Not
I don't want
swimsuit.
to know. Someone's watching. We're going to be fine. But, so no cameras by the pool, no bedrooms in the garage. Like I literally specifically asked these questions now. I'm sure they'll
nice.
OMG, what is she had?
Okay. Awesome. And did you book then, which platform did you book through? Was it VRBO or Airbnb or a different one?
Airbnb this last time.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And then, if you found the absolute perfect vacation rental, but you had set a budget for yourself before you started looking, and this one, the perfect one was like $200 a night more than what you really wanted to spend, would you still do it?
Oh, would I push my budget? Oh, yeah. I'm more likely to push my budget. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Me personally, yes. But so I actually thought you were going to ask, like, would you negotiate? I'm like, I might. Usually you don't answer on those.
That's okay. Negotiation's always good too. But yeah, I mean, it's good to know if guests are willing to spend a little bit more for that perfect, nicer place, when they absolutely find it. So, okay.
100 million. Yes.
Did you leave a review after checkout?
I did. I left the private review and the public review. Yes, 100%.
Awesome.
I know how valuable those can be to the homeowner, so I'm hoping that it helped.
Yeah. And did the owner respond to your review?
I did not.
The public one?
No, okay. I did not notice. And so I also wish that they would ask me, like, I would love to talk to them directly. I mean, like, can I be on a special list so that next year I can come back here again and we both, can kind of just work together specifically.
Right. Perfect. And you didn't receive any of that?
No invitation to like sign up for their email list. Like, we're in the digital marketing space. So like getting on their, if it's a business and they're running a business, it makes sense to want my email, to have their constant, nurturing marketing, other homes they might own.
So you never heard from your host after your stay? Okay. All right. And you would be all in favor and completely understand if you did receive an email or a message or something like that. You'd be like, yay, good job.
I would be excited. Yeah, 100%. I want to follow them on Instagram. I want to tag them when I take pictures. I mean, I want these things. Even their Wi-Fi code, like the one, where do we say? I think it was in Brooklyn, New York, where the guy was like, his Wi-Fi code was like, give Jim 5 stars.
Love it. He found a way to do that.
Brilliant. I was like, I like this guy.
Well, because it's actually against Airbnb's policy for you to in any way bribe your guests for that 5-star review. Like some people that I've seen, they want to leave like a little poster or card or something in the rental that says, hey, we'll give you this, as a gift if you give us this 5-star review.
No, I agree with that. I agree. Honest reviews. I want honest reviews, but at least invite me to have a conversation even after the review.
Right. And book again.
Yeah.
So what would be 2 items of advice that you would give all vacation rental owners?
I would say 100% invite me to something that doesn't bribe me to give you 5 stars, but that allows me and you, the owner of the property, to have a conversation afterwards. So before the internet, I still rented homes before then. We're old enough, right? So we would I would usually have a friend mail me a paper from that area, because you couldn't even get those regularly, right? And then you'd be looking like Cape Cod. We used to go to Cape Cod or Martha's Vineyard. Okay, mail me a local paper. As soon as the paper, releases the rentals, and you go through and you call people, and then you would have a relationship with that individual. And every year we'd go back and rent that house. Or if it was busy, we'd say, who else do you know, Joe? And they would give us another idea. And so it was more relationship based. And I'm not sure if it was more profitable or what, but at the end of the day, you're staying in someone else's home, even if they're not there. So it's nice to have that kind of relationship. So that's the number one thing, is look and seek unique and fun ways that make it easy for the owner and easy for the renter to be able to continue on. Even if I don't want to stay there again, or if I don't have the opportunity to stay there again, because maybe, not everybody vacations as much as I do, or travels as much. But wouldn't it be nice if my friend or my neighbor or my cousin was like, I saw that picture of you in Miami. Got to tell me everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, best home ever. Here's the information. As opposed to handing them an Airbnb link, I can hand them, here's the person's email.
Sure.
That'd be the first thing. And then the second thing is, because I am in the digital marketing space, and I know that we actually had this conversation, is having Instagrammable moments, like inside the home. Everybody has their phone on them, and almost everybody's on Instagram. And even if they're not, they like a nice picture. If it's a family or if it's this, even if they don't post it and tag you on Instagram, it's still a picture that then they remember you and want to be a part of, your home now is a part of that memory.
Perfect. Okay. So going back to something you said earlier in our interview today, you had mentioned how you typically change it so that you're only seeing SuperHosts. So what would be a piece of advice you could give a brand new vacation rental owner who is not a SuperHost yet, and they maybe don't have any reviews because nobody stayed there yet, or they have 1 review? Right. What advice would you give to that person to entice you to want to book with them?
Maybe something in the title, like new but great. Like, don't be upset by, like We're new, but we're really good. Like, so I don't know. I would have to think about it. It's a great question. I think that's what you do with their titles, right? So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
would say, talk to Suzanne.
Nice. Okay, I like it. That's the best thing ever.
Your best advice is to
Right.
call Suzanne. She can help you.
Perfect. So is there one question that I didn't ask you today that you wish I would have asked you?
Great question. I wonder, like, does location matter? Is it always like, do you have a vacation home, do you have to have it on the beach, or can it be somewhere like in someone's neighborhood? Like, if someone maybe owns a home and they would rent it typically to long-term renters. I don't know if would I rent a home if I wanted to see my brother, for example, and he lives in the middle of Tennessee. I wouldn't necessarily need to be at the beach or the mountains. I just want to be near my brother, but I don't want to be at his house for 5 days.
Yep. Yep.
And so I guess, are those just as accessible, or what would be your advice for finding those, since they seem to be less frequent?
Sure. I mean, usually if you have a town or a city that you want to visit and stay in, if you put that in the search, it's going to come up with all sorts of things, whether it's beach or mountains or anything like that. There's homes that people have available for rent. I'd say almost in every city across the country. There are millions and millions of vacation rental homes out there. So, and the other thing is that the greater majority of them, are small businesses. They're just people that have listed their home for sale. And then greater than half of those are female owners. I believe it's like 55%. So it's slightly more than 50% are female owned as well. So it's a great opportunity for women, to get in and make some extra money. So
I love that.
Awesome.
That's interesting because, as you say that, the people that I know that own vacation homes, I didn't know. Yeah, I guess they're married, but still, like, the woman is the one who does it, like, who names it, who like decorates and makes sure that it feels like there's a theme. I love the theme houses. I think that's so fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thank you for your time so much today, and I look forward to chatting with you again. And obviously we'll be coming to you for advice too down the road. So thank you so much, Renee.
Thank you. And I'm sending everybody your way who wants to have a vacation home rental that's profitable.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. All right. Bye-bye.